Alright, everybody, welcome back to our Farmall Farmall Case IH farm here on Calmlands. As you can see, I'm using the 460 to finish up cultivating our former sunflower field. I haven't 100% decided what I want to put here next, but I think I'm just going to do soybeans, which is what we're going to put in that lower field. I know it's still February, which is the month we were in when I last played, but we're going to be flipping over to March here real soon. It's already evening. It's almost 5 o'clock. We want to get that field done. I'm going to take this 460 and this disc cultivator, I guess it is, down to the lower field because I did make a few. They ran into each other. Okay, the workers are done. That's good. I made a decision that for this next year, I'm going to use this big grass field in front of us here to be what I'm going to essentially call, like, I wouldn't call it horse hay, but, you know, kind of meadow hay here, which we'll use to feed the heifers. And then this lower field, we're actually going to make into a proper grass field. We're going to take care of it, and fertilize it, and everything. So that's why I think if I cultivate it, because it shouldn't need. This one had beans in it, yeah. So it shouldn't need to be plowed. So right now, it's going to show 0% fertilized. But if I plant grass and I use the solid fertilizer in there, I don't need this to be a fertilizing stage. We can just do this. Actually, we might be able to direct seed. I might not do this, but I'm going to leave it down here for now. If anybody knows, feel free to leave a comment. Can I just direct seed, or do I need to cultivate? So yeah, it's not giving me a fertilizing stage for cultivating. Oh. That's interesting. Alright, so let's get these guys squared away so they're not charging me money to be run into each other. I did some of it myself, and then I hired 2 workers. Just because it's a big field and I wanted to get done sooner rather than later. So you can see that piece down there isn't done yet. And this little piece up here isn't quite done. But once we get this squared away, we will go ahead and... you haven't really completed your task. Tell you what, we will put this worker back on, and we will get that other one. Sorry about all the tabbing. I know that drives people crazy when I tab so much, but we've reached a point in this save that I wouldn't say we're quite at the farm manager stage, but it takes so many IRL hours to do the work in a given season that I either have to time lapse, which, you know, doesn't always go over too well, or I have to do work off recording and then just kind of catch you up. So that's what we're doing here. We're finishing up this field. It needs lime and it needs to be rolled, so we have plenty to do. I've not actually done a lot of, I don't think I've gotten a roller yet. And that's maybe something we can check in the store. I may have to go download something that can work for that, for this save. We would want something kind of old-timey looking, or at least maybe like a homemade set. I think there was a set of concrete rollers that I've seen floating around in the mod hub. Something like that I feel like would look appropriate for this save. But the 826 here, I think it is, 1086 here, has been doing a pretty good job with this plow. It's not too crazy. This may have to be a match, equipment match moving forward. But all this groundwork is important. You know, it's fun to harvest, and it's fun to have the fun of bringing your crops in, but they don't get that way on their own. You have to tend them and make sense of it. So that's my hope here, is that we can do good work in this phase so that we get a nice healthy crop later. And I do believe we're going to do soybeans in this field. I know we did soybeans in the lower field before, but remember the theme here is kind of 90s-ish, which I'm calling vintage, and I know some of us are insulted by that, but it's true. So a 90s-ish farm that is growing, well, has cows. The dairy is the primary thing, but we're also growing corn and soybeans in the ostensibly in the American Midwest. That's the storyline, and I think that makes sense. I thought about doing like sorghum. That wouldn't be too far out of the realm of possibility. We could do another grain crop, but since we have those two little fields up there with our grain crops, I think that makes sense. I had thought about maybe putting a big oat crop in over here, because oats are very prevalent in the Midwest, and we'd be able to get plenty of straw off of a big oat field this size. But I'm alright with doing soybeans again, and they're a nice little cash crop. We can sell those, maybe not off the field, maybe we put them in our silo, but sell them when they're at a good price. Is he gonna come back on? Probably this right side, so I'll take the left. I appreciate all the real farmers who have left comments over the past year or so of having this channel to kind of help me get things straight. It's been a lot of fun. The nice thing about what is he backing up? Or did he just stop? The nice thing about plowing this field is that we won't have to deal with weed care. Alright, we'll get this last little bit done, and we'll simulate over to March and see what our list of jobs is. We're so close to being done. I did finish the slurry on here. That was the main thing I've been doing off recording. So our slurry is almost empty from these cows, and the field is good, and it has one fertilizing stage on it, and we'll put another one on with the solid fertilizer, which means we're not going to have to do any spraying of this field or the lower field where we're going to put the grass in. So feels good. And the other nice thing about having that grass field done down there, we won't have to keep seeding it every season, every year. We'll be able to just harvest it as we need. Hay bales or silage, either one, both. And we actually may not need to do silage again the rest of this playthrough, if I'm being honest. 200,000 liters of silage in the barn. Pretty nice. So that brings me to another point. For those of you that are still watching at the 10-minute mark, give me a comment down below and let me know you're still watching. I appreciate that. But also the question is, how far should we go with this series? You know, do we want to have an arbitrary mark, like a certain number of episodes, like, 50, 75, 100, whatever episodes? Or do we want to get to a certain number of years? Do we want to get to a certain amount of money? We didn't really mess around with money all that much when we first started. We just kind of kept playing, and we got pretty low. I think we were down to about $10,000 at one point, and then we started cashing in some of our products, and it's feeling pretty good now. We've got an 18-wheeler. We've got several tractors and lots of cows. Our milk production's looking real good. So let me know what you think about that. I'm going to tab over. This is right where I wanted to go, so we can go to the house. Oh boy, I'm in. Yeah, that's not where I wanted to be. So we will go ahead and simulate, and I will see you guys in the morning. I mean, I can talk to you while we're sleeping. Take a little sip there, and we're back. 9 o'clock in the morning. So the beginning of March. Let's take a look. We'll check on the cows. So these cows are out of water. All right. Well, that'll hurt the milk production for sure. These heifers are at 4 months old, and they're doing okay. They've got 10,000 hay. These little ones are good, 100% health, so they're growing. Their main objective is to grow from month to month. So once we get this water going, the productivity for these two will be good again. And then let's go ahead and look at our calendar here. So for March, we can put in oats or sunflowers, potatoes, sugar beet, sugarcane, cotton, grapes, olives. But definitely we could go ahead and plant our grass down below there. And then we could do our soybean field in April. Our grains are still growing. I think what I might do, just for fun, because we haven't used the M for anything in a bit, I think we'll use it to take some water down to the cows. Because I'm pretty sure that the milk tanker has milk in it. I think I had a couple thousand liters left, and I didn't want to make a special trip. So we'll do this job. I don't love the loading and unloading speed of this trailer, but give us something to do with the M. What a cool looking tractor. This old MTA. Now I put in this gate over here for the intended purpose of doing stuff like this job, watering. But the problem is the climb out of there. Terraforming has really been the bane of my existence on this series. Okay, that should do it right here. Go ahead and take a look at the cows. Yeah, they can take every bit one of these. While I'm here, I'm gonna check this truck. Yeah, so we have 3,000 liters of milk. So we won't use this for water right now. So get that a little bit. I do like the look of this truck so much. Just feels right. What? Did we get it? Yeah, we did. That was weird. Okay, so another 2 months probably, and we'll be able to take a load of milk up to sell. Okay, so we'll fill those guys up with water as well. And then I guess we plant grass. I guess that's our job. This thing handles better than I remember it handling. I kind of like this. The low center of gravity seems to help. He says as he almost crashes into the water, Bowser. I was kind of surprised. I thought I would get more comments on the new shed back there, the new workshop. I thought that was a really nice inclusion to the farm setup. Give us a little bit of role play perspective there, and allow us to get our equipment repaired every year. And oops, whoa. It was a pretty quiet episode, all things considered. I was very surprised at that. But I appreciate the people who have been faithful and are still watching the series. Remember when I said this thing handles really well? It handles fine. That was my driving that caused that problem. What? Why? Alright, let's try. Oh, there it is. Okay. Like it? I know I expected more pushback when I bought this trailer. Like, bro, there's so many water, liquid trailers out there. Why would you use one that looks so brand new? But what I like about it is actually the scale, like the literal size of it. It just looks like it fits on this farm. It is newer looking, but perfect size. Okay, so that'll keep the cows producing milk. What tractor do we want to plant with? I'm thinking probably, maybe we'll use this one, because we don't use it for a ton of jobs, and it would be fine for planting. That squawking bird is still at it. Like, honestly, if there was a file that I could delete from the game files to make that squawking bird never squawk again, I would do it. I really would. Don't hit the H. Okay, this is... I may have to do this off recording because I am so bad at this job. See, it feels like I just can't do this right. This feels right to me. I feel like I'm straight in, and look at the tail end of it. It just turns. And I compensated the wrong way. Whatever, good enough. Oh, and then it just whipped into where I wanted it. Oy vey. Okay, I don't remember if the cycloplanter can do grass. I was just going to use this one. It seems more... If this won't direct seed, I'll try the cyclo. But I think this will. My hunch. Alright, let's get this on grass. There we go. Nope, that's OSR. There we go, grass. And then we'll open... to fill seed. And then close that and open this one to fill fertilizer. To fill fertilizer. Okay. Don't know. Maybe we need to buy more fertilizer? There it is. Just a tricky little... Oops. Tricky little deal there. So I want to see if it'll let me direct plant. If it will, good. If it won't, we're going to have to follow after a worker on the disc. There we go. The seed is going in. So what's it gonna tell me here? It's gonna say, oh, large weeds, so it needs herbicide, needs lime, and needs rolling. Well, we can roll it. I'm gonna buy a roller and roll the other field too. The right thing to do would be, because I think that gets rid of the weeds. No, this did not get rid of the weeds. Okay, there's absolutely no reason to cultivate this field, so we can get the 460 out of the way. I feel like the cultivating stage is not as valuable anymore. Just put this up here. I don't want to put it all the way back. And let's tab back to our, yeah, here we go. This, I do always forget that gearing up, it does take this tractor a little while. It did a much better job with the plow. So I may end up switching this out for the 5088, which seems to be my go-to tractor for every job. 7 miles an hour to plant seems okay. Seed usage looks like gonna be about 15% each pass. So we'll probably need at least one refill, maybe 1.5 refills to get the field done. But if we treat this field right, we'll get a really nice yield on it, and that will allow us to make quote-unquote good hay bales. I know I said this earlier, but the idea here is to add a little bit of a kind of role play element to this farm. We have, if we make our big round bales for the heifers that are less quality, and then we make other hay and silage down here, we could imagine that this is like alfalfa or something like that. Clover. I know there are some other maps that actually have multiple crop types built in to allow you to vary that. But at the end of the day, none of it affects the quality of the, dairy cows' production milk or anything. I do think that's the direction that, Farm Sim is going in, though, with precision farming and, the soil type stuff that they're doing. I would think a precision farming style update for livestock makes sense. If I worked for Giants, I think that would probably be my big content suggestion. Allow for, the reproduction system is a little bit flat, I guess. I can't think of a better word for it. It doesn't have the complexity. It's a little bit oversimplified compared to other parts of the game. And frankly, there are quite a few types of livestock that aren't in the game. Like goats, for example, is the big one that I am dumbfounded have not been added to the game. I know modders have put goats and ducks in, but even a silly, well, I shouldn't say silly, but a simpler game like Farm Manager has additional types of animals. Um, like they could add alpacas or llamas to this game, and it would be the same coding functionality essentially as the sheep because they produce their wool. I don't feel like you're asking for like a whole new set of animations even. They would be largely a combination of cow and horse animations, I would think. But this is a dairy farm, so I don't need to be chitter chattering on about all that. I do think additional breeds and the more sophisticated version of fattening up your animals from seasons in FS19 would be very welcome on this game. Like the way the timeline works on this game combined with fattening animals up from seasons in FS19 would be so good. And if they then incorporated what I'm talking about with different food types influencing the animals a little bit more, having just a dash more nuance there. Like if the quality of feed for your pigs and your beef cows fattened them up at a different rate, even letting people raise, instead of chickens just for eggs, but letting people raise chickens for meat, I think all of those things would bring a real interesting depth to the game. I would love to see that, but can't always get what we want. And I have no idea the scale of work. I know one thing that influences this game development is manufacturers, right? They want people playing using their new equipment. So the emphasis is always going to be on equipment rather than everything else. That's pretty cool. I think we'll snag a picture of this. And I think I'm going to leave you guys here. Thanks so much for checking out the episode. I'll probably finish this field off recording, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Bye for now.